It's 110 degrees in Egypt. Sitting in the shade of Dahab hostel, heat lays on you like a weighted blanket, so oppressive that a 90-degree breeze feels luxurious. Movement is minimal. It's an effort to just go down the elevator from 1922 to the thirst-quenching bliss of the fresh juice stand next door. Wailing traffic is the unending soundtrack to our present reality while we swap stories with a guy who's been trapped here with his buddy for a month after finishing a road trip from Cape Town to Cairo. The weird part is, we're loving it. You may be asking, weren't you supposed to fly from Israel to Thailand? It's a good question. Turns out, flying out of Cairo is hundreds of dollars cheaper than leaving from Tel Aviv. Should we just spend 5 days in Egypt? Fuck it. Yes.
Downtown Cairo is not an easy place to meet local people, especially after the decimation of the economy due to the pandemic. You almost can't look people in the eye without being pressured to enter a store or buy a trinket.
The only piece of advice we got from a local was head across the street for traffic laws. Mere suggestions.
Close your eyes, open your heart.
Pray to God.
Then he lured us into a shop, got our guards down,
Christopher's shirt off.
and our card ran for a bottle of $75 chakra oil that we were led to believe was $15.
He even got us to pay for an expensive lunch of roast pigeon.
We slunk back to the hostel to share our embarrassments with others like us to feel a little less lost, which is where we met a guy who almost turned these kinds of experiences into his very own TV show.
This is travel expert Jay Currie. In the world of international travel, he's known as the Frugal Nomad. In 2014, he left the corporate grind to pursue a dream, to travel the world and explore as many countries, cultures, and communities as he could.
I got to a point where by all accounts I had become successful. And I would spend my days sitting at my desk, looking up adventurous things to do, although I'd never done something like that. And then I found the Appalachian Trail. I went into my two business partners and said, hey guys, I'm gonna go hike the Appalachian Trail. And they're like, dude, you can't leave for that long. Well, I'm going to, and you guys will just have to figure that out. And I just had the most eye-opening experience of my life. And I wanted a life that had more of that.
He came back from the trail, collected his last check, sold his company shares, started backpacking the world, wrote a travel book, took people on guided hitchhiking tours, and eventually became a life transformation coach.
Enough people tell you what an impact you've made on them. And then you start thinking, well, maybe this is a career thing. I really like the way that feels.
How the hell did you end up, going from Chicago to South Africa and landing in Dahab Hostel in Egypt?
So originally this trip was part of a movie production. It's called Growing to Africa. And it was a docu-series about eco-consciousness, eco-travel. The idea was that we would be setting up base camps in each country at a Fairtrade project as we went through Africa.
That's actually pretty amazing.
Yep. The whole team was assembled and ready to go, gear packed, ready to be shipped. And then they pulled the budget 1 week before.
So what did you do when you found out?
Cried.
Yeah.
It was a very emotional night. We just asked everyone on the team, who wanted to go on the trip, funding it themselves.
Only 3 said yes. Jay, his fiancée, and his buddy Kay.
So yeah, I had met Kay in Chile. He bought a hitchhiking tour. Yeah, he was a financial software manager.
And he's not anymore?
Nope. He came back from that trip and quit his job and went and hiked the Appalachian Trail.
See, you're a dangerous man, Jay.
I'm contagious.
You are, apparently.
I'm very contagious.
So how did the trip go?
Fucking epic, man. So we bought the car in Johannesburg. We drove up north into Botswana and then west to Namibia, back into South Africa to Cape Town, around the coastline of South Africa into Swaziland, and then started going up the east coast, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt.
When did you lose the third companion?
In Malawi.
In Malawi.
Yes. One thing I am slightly grateful for is that I didn't break up with my fiance on national television.
No, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Would have brought a lot of ratings, though.
Yeah, that's what the producers would have said.
What was the hardest part?
I would say the hardest part on this trip is also my hardest part in all of my traveling across 40-something countries. The country of Sudan. So our first 24 hours in Sudan, we crossed the worst stretch of road that we'd faced on the entire trip. Got through the first major city, and I had smashed into a pothole and shattered the wheel bearing. It's dark, and so we just pulled the car off the road into the desert. I wake up in the morning, my buddy has food poisoning, vomiting, shitting about every 5 minutes, and we are in the middle of the Sahara Desert. I hitchhiked back 80 kilometers with no...
How hot was it?
So it got up to 47 degrees.
What time of day?
I started in the morning, so it wasn't so bad for me. It was horrible for my friend. He stayed with the car.
He said he was in 3 hours.
Did you believe him?
I did not believe him at all.
I had forgotten the little bit of money that we did have and figured that I could work out a deal where we get a tow truck and then I pay them somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And I
You gladly paid him Tuesday
for the
a hamburger
cheeseburger today, yes. The blessing of that is that the truck driver that I hitchhiked with had his little brother with him, and he was able to negotiate a tow truck for us. This tow truck costs $500 US dollars. In Ethiopia, $500 is the equivalent of $5,000 in the United States. We had the tow truck guy is waiting for us. We went back and I'm like, man, I couldn't find money. He said, no, this truck is not leaving unless I get paid. All while on 30-minute intervals, my buddy who's just watching the clock, where are you? When are you coming back? Water's almost gone. I'm going to die in the desert.
I tried to find the shade, but I couldn't.
And this desert is like a convection oven. So the heat comes up off the ground, the wind blows it into your face.
And I was sitting in the car looking at the clock, and every 15 minutes, I would take a little sip of water.
I remembered a woman that we had met in Ethiopia who was the only person on this entire trip that had a PayPal account. So the way that I had worked this out, Beza from the capital of Ethiopia sends money to the border of Ethiopia. A man that we had worked with at the border withdraws the money from an ATM, walks across the border, Ethiopian border into Sudan, changes the money into Sudanese currency, and then gives the money to a cell phone store owner who does a Sudan to Sudan bank transfer to the aunt of the tow truck driver because the tow truck driver didn't have a bank account.
Oh, shit.
I got back as the sun was going down, so he spent all day
All day
outside.
in the Sudanese
Yep.
heat.
But yeah, the thought crossed my mind, like, if like, is this it? You know, is it really like that? And I'm like, no, that can't be it like that. No, not in this place.
Were you scared Kay was gonna die in the car?
Yeah, the whole time.
Oh God.
I mean, luckily, I don't think I ever told Kay this, but a substantial portion of that day I spent in the office of the tow truck guy who had an air conditioner. But,
Yeah, don't tell him.
yeah. Tell me again, Kay, what's hot?
Everything.
Everything's hot?
The air, the wind, the ground.
You a different person now than you think you were when you started this trip?
I am struggling a bit to open myself back up. I feel like I lived a very open lifestyle, very loving. I feel like I've had to wall off that part. Been sitting here trying to take the bricks apart and lower it back down.
Still worth it?
Oh, for sure. This is the Olympics of travel.
Yeah. Would you do it again?
No.
One says it out.
But I would do it the first time eternally.
Life has the potential to be so much easier. Soft bed, 4 walls and a roof to keep you safe and dry, long-term companionship, a job. So why risk blowing it all up and embrace discomfort, trekking into the unknown?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to is, asking yourself, like, are you living the life that you want? And if you're not, you're the one that's stopping yourself from doing it.
You just have to close your eyes, open your heart, and pray to God.